Good afternoon and welcome to this week's coffee vlog, and it's on a Friday afternoon. Actually heading back to work now from what has been kind of like home from home for most of this year, well in fact all of this year really. Not that it's very interesting, but I've been spending far too much of my time visiting the hospital. Not for me personally, I hasten to add, but yep, so heading back to work, and then we'll have a little bit of a break, and then we'll recommence as I go home. Great. So this week, got a hashtag for this week, hashtag cookiegate, and this just relates to the fact that I filled out an Apple online form. They sent me an email through, Apple did, wanting me to review the Apple Store, and I thought, you know, why not? So I did dutifully go through and fill out the form as requested, and it was massive actually. There's loads to it and it was really annoying, and you know, I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I went through all this palaver of the whole thing, and I just thought at the end of it, it's alright them doing this customer survey to improve their service and whatever else, but you'd think you'd get something back for doing all that effort. It's quite a long form. Alright, maybe not a cookie, that's a silly thing to get really, but you know, you could get like a free app code download, or you know, a little bit of credit for the iTunes account or something like that. Just a little something for going to the effort of helping their customer service. So yes, anyway, see what happens with that. And things that have been happening this week, well, it's been a short week because of the bank holiday, of course. Didn't get up to much on the bank holiday weekend, really. Been hectic as usual at work. It has actually calmed down today. I've been trying to catch up with stuff. The stock take was, of course, hugely entertaining last week. And still got to finish off finalising all that now, but the hard bit of it was done. That was the main thing. Just sort out all the little errors here and there, and yeah, it's been really busy with just general sending out stuff. Lots and lots of Arobi AeroPresses. If I'm not sick of packing those things into shrink wrap to post them off. So I've done loads and loads of those, and now it's Friday afternoon, so it's the weekend. Yay! Get a bit of a rest. Well, I only had 4 days, but it's been 4 pretty hectic days, so I think I'll be glad of having my my break. So, not a great deal new on software front, I don't think. I've not seen any more releases of OS X or iOS betas. Not heard much about anything. I'm still quite enjoying Windows 10, to be honest. do find myself using that more for little bits of stuff. I would kind of like it if everything I needed Windows wise worked with it. So instead of having to run 2 separate Windows virtual machines, as well as Yosemite on the MacBook, but they are still not seeing any sign of those things that don't work starting to work, so that will be it's going to be a problem I'm going to have to live with, really. Oh, there's people coming up here now. Not a shortcut if all you lot come up here, is it? I have to cut the lights at the bottom. No. And they're going straight across. Let's go for it, woman. Go for it, woman. So yes, Windows 10. Yeah, I do like it now. It's getting more and more polished every time we get a new build through of the preview Windows 10. They're definitely getting caught up now with you know, getting all the graphics and UI synchronized into one nice look. What the devil's that little thing there? Can you see that? Hang on, I'm going to catch up to it. Look at it! It's a Renault, what is it? Twiglet. A Renault Twiglet. What the devil is it? It's not a car, it's not a bike. It's a thingy. It's quick though, look at it, zooming off. My goodness, that's put my train of thought right out now. I've seen a Renault Twiglet. So, yeah, we're nearly back here again. Yeah, ongoing saga of the waterworks is still ongoing. Have actually found a possible solution. Well, I don't know if it's going to help much or not, actually. I have to wait for me Yorkshire waterman to come back from holiday, because he was off this week. On next week he'll come in and we'll see. It seems that there's an old water supply that got capped off at the opposite end of the building to our metered supply. And when he turned off the water for the bank holiday weekends, I uncapped that and tested it, and it ran, but it dribbles. It's a bit like an old man taking a pee, to be honest. It's just dribbling out. It's no water pressure, so that's not going to be any good for our main supply. But it ran when the water was off, so we could possibly tap into that. That must run to the main itself. They did come and dig up the valve that's outside for that, and apparently it dribbled from the side that goes to the main water main in the middle of the road, so they filled in the hole again and said it's not their department now, it's down to Yorkshire Water to go and find out why. From the main to that valve, it's just dribbling for whatever reason. But they might be able to, if we can get that supply up and running, we can run off that and turn off the one that has a leak at the back that's not really involved with us. Complicated stuff. So yes, right, I better go and finish off doing things, and I shall recommence this shortly. See you in a bit. Hello, I'm back again, and look, everyone's gone home. I don't know, Friday afternoon and people finish early, shocking. If you're not in work until the 5:45 actually it is now, until 5:45, you're obviously far more efficient at working than I am, and they can therefore leave early if you get it all done quickly. That's all I can say. It's still raining miserably. It's like we're in for a night of heavy rain, but No, that's too much of a concern for me, because once I get home, I'm not moving anywhere, so just stay at home, nicely tucked in. So something I forgot to mention about Windows 10, I just remembered, well actually while I was shutting it down on the computer. The live tiles, where they show information like the news, sort of news app thing, and also the weather one as well, it has this nice sort of three-dimensional box rotation. When it changes information, it does this sort of animation of like a box flipping over, which quite appealing in the start menu. So yeah, I was quite impressed with that, and there are quite a few different bits and pieces to it that are really good, and also it does seem very nippy as an OS now. They really got on the back end of it, and you know, sorted out a lot of the lag that you see in earlier models, even Windows 7, which I've been very happy with Windows 7 to be honest, but they do seem to have sorted a lot of the lag issues out as well, so I'm really rather enjoying that. Other things that have been happening this week, game-wise, I've been playing a great game, really great game to be honest. It's called Papo and Yo. And yeah, I think I got it 3 on the PlayStation Network to be honest. And yeah, it's really very interesting. I've been playing it with my little lad. And we've both really enjoyed it to be honest. He's been doing quite well on it. It's not the most taxing a game, which is probably why I've enjoyed it so much. But it's very clever. You control a character in. Now I'm going to show my ignorance on gameplay, but you see the character in front of you ring about. So is that like third person or something? I don't know. It's not like an RPG where you look through their eyes anyway. You're looking at the character and you make him run about and everything. And basically you're sort of travelling through this world. It's kind of a bit oriental building like, and you create these like chalk patterns to do different things. So there might be a key or some cogs that you press and they push in, and that does something else, and then that does something else. So it's very much a puzzle based game. So in order for your character to progress through different levels, you have to perform these different puzzles to open up a pathway to get to the next bit and whatever else. It does actually seem to have a bit of a darker side to it. I think if you try and work out, and I think I read up on it as well, the actual theory of it, because you kind of start out, the little lad that you control is sort of like huddled in what would be a cupboard with his little toy robot. And it sounds like someone's very angry in the background, and as you go through it there is a monster that he sort of has to lead around, and quite bizarrely, as the game goes on, the monster, if you let it eat these frogs, little rainbow frogs that pop up now and again, if the monster eats the frogs, it turns all red and fiery and tries to kill you. Well, it just like rags you about completely, and it's a complete nightmare to do anything because he keeps attacking you unless you can get away from him. And then you get towards the end of it, and there are some very surreal scenes in the whole thing anyway, where the worlds start tipping on the side and you end up in all this sort of dream world effect thing. You get to the end of it and you actually find out really the monster is the child's parent, and the angry side is obviously because he was an alcoholic parent who got angry and the child was escaping it. It's kind of, yeah, it's a bit deep really. a bit odd. But the game's fantastic. Just try not to get too deep into the background of, I don't know what was going on when they developed it, and thought this may be a good idea, but yeah, we'll do it that way. But as far as gameplay goes, great, really enjoyed playing it. Got through to the end. In fact, I'd want to go back through and do it all again. Look for hacks this time, there's hacks scattered around anywhere. So yeah, that was Papo and Joe on PS3. Like I say, I got it 3 as part of the PlayStation Network Plus subscription. You get 3 games each month. It's actually been really worthwhile for me, because having PS3, PS4 and Vita now, to keep the entire family entertained, you get 3 games for all of those per month, so you get new stuff to try each time. Once you've downloaded them, you can keep them, I think, until your subscription ends after the 12 months. Not entirely clear if you still get to have them if you renew at the end of the year for another year, if you get to keep the ones that you had, or if they just disappear. But obviously, while you're in your current subscription, you can sort of purchase them during the month, and I think you have to get in and get them while they're available and get the purchase in. Obviously you can download them, play them, and then delete afterwards, and if you don't want them, or if you finished it, whatever else. But if you want to go back to it, you can re-download it again, because it's logged in your purchases. It's not very clear what happens after your year subscription runs out, to be honest, but so it's been good, because like I say, you get maybe 3 or 4 games for each sort of gaming console. So the PS3 gets some, the PS4 gets some, and the Vita gets some. Sometimes it'll be the same game appears for all 3 devices, or 2 of the 3, and other times you get different ones for all the different ones. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. Mystified, I'm going to admit, by, and really for years this has completely confused me. As we go more digital and everything's available to download digitally, things like on the PlayStation Network store, you can go in and browse all the games to buy them. The thing is, if you go in and look at the games, say, example was when I got The Crew at Christmas, driving game, it I think it was about 59 quid or something on the PlayStation Network to download. So buy it online and download it, and I went onto Amazon, and it was 24 quid with free Prime delivery to buy a physical disc, and have Amazon put that in an envelope and label it, and then deliver it from wherever their warehouse was to me. Now, that sort of thing, I mean, aside from the fact that it was nearly like, well, in fact it was more than half the price, the simple logic of why do they make things that are digital downloads more expensive than buying a physical thing, because it just defeats the object, doesn't it? I've always wondered this with DVDs, really, since iTunes started doing movies, and you can buy movies or rent movies. I mean, rental's a bit daft, I think, personally, for me. I'd rather buy one if I like one. But with movies, most of the movies you could buy on iTunes, you could get from Amazon or Play.com or whatever else. The physical DVD, a physical thing, you've had the plastic and done the label for the box, and manufactured the DVD and burnt it, well, and it's going to be posted out, and the postman's going to come around and deliver it to you. And you can do it cheaper than you can download it. And it's like, well, what's the point? Because I don't want to do that. I've got piles of DVDs stacked up around the house that I never look at now, because I'll never be bothered. You've got to hunt through, find what you want, and then get the disc out, and then put it in the DVD player, mess about with it. But I've got everything now on computerised with Apple TVs where I don't have the computer, and then I can just flick through the lists and they're all there digitally. And that's sort of the way forward, but it's not going to be a way forward if you make it more expensive to download something than you do to physically buy it and have it. It's going to end up with more waste and landfill and God knows what else. So that is a complete and utter mystery to me. I don't know why. And the thing is, with the movie industry, they're all about all piracy and turreting and, you know, people, it's stopping the industry go forward because they're losing revenue and whatever else. Here's an idea. Make digital downloads of your movies a reasonable price and people would buy them digital download wise instead of using torrent sites to get digital copies of them. Because otherwise at the moment what you're going to do, buy a physical disc, get it, and then rip it off the disc to your computer so you can then watch it, which is a complete pain in the butt lunch. So yeah, I can't figure it out at all. And I think like the same thing with games, like just, you know, you don't want to be buying loads of game discs. I'd rather download it to the device, and especially now that your PlayStation Network, in the same way iTunes does with your apps, it remembers your purchase history. So, you know, once you've got the game, it's always there in your PlayStation Network account. So, whenever you want to download it, you can do. It's not like it's a one-off thing. So, that's ideal, rather than having, you know, piles of games laid about all over the place. Same thing, cluttering up your house and, you know, all that waste from plastics and whatever else. But no, they just make downloading stuff more expensive. I can't understand it, really can't. Hopefully in future that they'll start waking up and realise that the best thing to do is to put us off buying physical stuff and have it all downloaded and accessible that way. But I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. It's soaking wet along here. Crikey. It's been raining a fair bit this afternoon. So anyway, that's my rant over on downloads and games and movies and whatever else. So people wanting to get run over. So yeah, I believe Saturday is going to be like this, so that's not going to be too cracky. Hopefully Sunday, I think, is supposed to be quite warm. Now, it's supposed to warm up next week as well, because it's not been that warm this week, so I'm kind of hoping for a bit of a warmer week next week. I'd say maybe if it's nice Sunday, we'll get out to a park somewhere. A little. Right, so no, some bins decided to dive over by something. So I hope you all have a good weekend, whatever you get up to, and hopefully don't get drowned out. No, they haven't. So I'm trying to drive up the wrong drive there. Someone's closed my gate, but it's actually the gate to next doors I'm looking at. It appears to have gone completely and utterly wrong with this. I don't know why. That's probably because I'm too busy gobbing on to you lot rather than actually paying attention to what I'm doing, that's why. Yeah, that's better. Right, so yes, have a good weekend. Hopefully you don't get drowned out, looks like we're gonna tonight. And I'll catch you in next week's exciting coffee vlog.